I get some questions. What the heck was going on with Secret Service? Why? Why was Secret Service and the SWAT team, the local SWAT team that was involved in securing that area for that rally in Pennsylvania? It turns out, new information today, 90 minutes. They knew that guy was there for 90 minutes. And you know what else? They knew that that kid was a problem going back a year. They found out he was buying some suspicious stuff. So they had their eye on this guy. And yet, for 90 minutes, they followed him around. You got texts going back and forth. We're going to get to them from the SWAT team members. And now the SWAT team, the local law enforcement, they're coming out and saying, what the heck happened? Why wouldn't Secret Service talk to us? Take a look.
Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
Not until after the shooting.
And by then?
It was too late.
Crazy, right? I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Why wouldn't they be having some kind of discussion? So they got to do a deep dive on this. Donald Trump has agreed to sit down for an FBI interview to figure out why this happened. I mean, it shouldn't have happened. And he's been very, very magnanimous about the Secret Service, including the woman who was there protecting him. And he's had nothing but lovely things to say. But you got to wonder, after a while, why was nobody actually doing their job? Is this just bureaucracy gone really, really bad? I mean, it could be, or is it something else? It's like what we say over and over again when we look at the stupidity of the policy coming out of Washington, D.C., and we're like, are they really just that stupid, or is it deliberate? So it's hard to know, but I'll tell you one thing. They better figure this out, because America deserves it. Future presidents deserve it. Current candidates deserve it. You can't have a situation where, some podunk kid is taking out the president of the United States. And my gosh, he nearly did. Take a look at some of these texts, by the way. So they were texting each other back and forth, and these have all come forward. This is the New York Post that published them. Someone followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. This is Counter Sniper texting a colleague. Sometime around 4:26 p.m. Don't forget, this all happened around 6:11. Quote, I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there sitting in the direct right of the picnic table about 50 yards from the exit. So they want to make it clear that the suspicious person, which was this kid, knows that there's surveillance going on, right? If you could call it that. A few more texts. At around 5:10, this kid was below the counter snipers who were inside the AGR International Building warehouse, where the 20-year-old eventually climbed into the roof and fired his AR-15. And again, this is all coming to us via the New York Post. I quote, one of the counter snipers took photos of him and shared them in a group chat around 5:38. Okay, so they know he's there. The counter snipers know he's there. The SWAT team knew. I mean, this crazy theory, maybe they were fine with him taking out Trump. Like, they didn't want Trump in the scene. Well, what about everybody else who's there? Right? I mean, this guy's a real threat, and yet nothing happens. I don't buy it. An officer, quote, also wrote in a text that they should tell the Secret Service about the suspicious person, as the rangefinder he had on him alarmed authorities. This is according to the New York Times, that they're quoting, quote, kid learning around, I think they mean lurking, but they're texting each other furiously and fast. You should see my text. Yeah. Fat fingers on the iPhone. Kid learning, they mean lurking around the building we are in. AGR, I believe it is. According to the text, I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards the stage. FYI, if you want to notify Secret Service snipers to look out, I lost sight of him. Okay, so again, everybody knows just exactly what's going on, and yet they don't do anything. So it goes on, it says, call it into command and have a uniform check it out. This is the tech stuff, again, going back and forth, and we know this because of, thankfully, Senator Chuck Grassley's office. Some whistleblowers have come forward and informed him of this stuff, and so it's getting to the public, but, they would like this thing to just be buried. Think about that. They don't want you to know about this. That in and of itself really troubles me. That they want this all to go away. So much so that, hey, They didn't even want you to know that it was a bullet that grazed the head of Donald Trump. Think about that. So the former president of the United States, by some kind of miracle, was nearly hit with a bullet in the head. It would have been game over. And then you had Christopher Wray from the New York Times trying to tell us it was, something else entirely, like maybe just some shrapnel, maybe it was just the prompter, maybe just some glass. He wasn't sure that it was a bullet. Did it really kill Chris Wray? To not have to, why didn't he check that out first? Why is he saying maybe it's something else? I mean, you want to talk about conspiracies. It's like they were trying to light one all onto their own. And so now finally, the FBI has come forward and said, yep, turns out that was a bullet. Unbelievable. I think we have this article from Forbes, Drew, right? This headline, or maybe ABC News also, I mean, everybody put it up. Local SWAT team blames Trump assassination attempt on lack of planning. That's ABC News. But we also have one from Forbes talking about just exactly what that was. It wasn't shrapnel, you see. That was a bullet. And so the latest and greatest is that the FBI has confirmed, indeed, it was a bullet that swiped by the former president's head. I mean, the fact that we are even here having to debate this is just a little bit weird. What was the FBI trying to insinuate? Why did it take so long? Why couldn't they admit the truth? I mean, they really don't like this guy, do they?